Good evening, guys. Good evening, everyone. Namaste. So I'm really happy to meet you here, and I welcome you all to ROTC Season 3, the Loft edition. So in this version, we'll be talking about the entire design brief of Loft, and what went behind it, and how you all contributed in making the design better. So before I go into I jump into today's presentation, I'll just give you a broad outline on what is it that we're going to talk. So we have broadly broken down the presentation into 5 chapters. So chapter 1 is about the arrival experience, making an impression, right? So that's chapter 1. Chapter 2 is about the new phenomenon, working from home, right? And chapter 3 is about childcare. Chapter 4 is about healthcare and health and fitness related facilities, and chapter 5 is about practical luxury. After that, we will probably, I'll just give a brief, we got some video presentations, and then we'll head into a Q&A, an interactive Q&A where you can ask questions, and I'll be there to answer. So yeah, let's get started with today's presentation, and I'm really excited to do this with all you guys. So before we start, I'll just give a broad outline about Loft. So Loft is spread in 4.92 acres. It's an exclusive 3 BHK community, and it's ground plus 45 floors. And some of the key elements of Loft is, I would say, some of the top, there are several things, but the top three things I would say is the work from home related facilities, and our very bestseller, the outdoor living balconies, and the urban corridor, something which we introduced new in Project Loft. Right, so see, then let's head straight into chapter 1. The most important thing of any project, right, any community is the first impression, the impression it makes on its residents, and more importantly, the guests who are visiting them. So the impression matters a lot. So a new home should be more than just a place to live. It should make a lasting impression on everyone. So, and that's a testament about the property, right? So with regarding to this aspect, so I'll probably discuss on two key topics. What is it that we did at a community scale, right, regarding the superior arrival experience, and what is it that we did at a apartment scale, or what we call family scale, right? So first, let me talk about the community scale design improvisations, what we have done in Loft, which can have a lasting impression on its guests and its residents. Right, the first most important thing is the grand entrance, right? So as people enter, that's what leaves an impression. So we did survey about various projects, especially we observed a lot of 5-star hotels, what happens in them, because there is a certain element of wow which it creates when one enters these properties or facilities. So one thing common across all of them we found was that most of the star hotels have a water body at the entrance with cascading waterfalls, so that there's sound of water which one can hear right when they're entering into the property, right? And we all know sound of water has a sort of a cooling and calming effect on anybody, and more so it's visually appealing. So in the entrance of Loft as well, so we planned for a big water cascade right up on the entrance, and again there's a roundabout where guests can get dropped, and there will be a sculpture in between around the roundabout, so it will really give them a very luxury and a very plush experience as they're entering into the property, right? So you can see on your screen, the particular, I would say the 2D diagram of how we have designed that. So this is how it's going to look. So, this is a 3D image of how that particular thing is going to look. So it will really thrill the guests and the residents as they enter into the property. So this was one very key aspect what we focused right from the word go while designing Loft. Right, the next important thing what we realized was the entire aspect around lobbies. Right, again, when you look at 5-star hotels and all, they have massive, very plush, luxurious lobbies. So we really wanted to take the notch above in this project. So we segregated the lobbies into 2 aspects again, the guest lobbies and the resident lobbies. Right, the guest lobbies is exclusively used by the guests right when they enter the property, and that's their first touch and feel of the of the project. That is where they would be received by the, by the host there. So that was one very key thing. And second aspect was the resident lobby, because again, residents too use the property on a day-to-day basis, right, while using the podium or anytime. So both of these we focused, and unlike other projects where for both purposes you have one lobby, we thought that was not right. So that's not going to leave a lasting impression. So we dedicatedly have separate lobbies for guests and separate lobby for residents, so that we can really create a top-notch experience. So this is a sample image of the design of the guest lobby. Again, this is a double height lobby, so it's made with plush Italian marbles, and we intend to have a sort of a very five-star hotel-like arrival experience, where there'd be bouquets and that sort of thing, and fragrance of the flowers. So the guest would be really thrilled once they enter into the project. And so this is an image of the clubhouse lobby right outside the, I would say, the multi-purpose hall. Again, that's another space where a lot of guests would be coming in. So we really had to, do thesis research on, okay, what are all the guest-focused areas? Which are all the locations where there would be a lot of guest traffic, and really focus on that. So this is the clubhouse reception lobby, so where guests would be treated to, again, large open lobby with multiple, a very plush look and feel. So this is one of the resident lobby. So there are almost 2 resident lobbies per tower. So then there are 2 towers. So there are 4 resident lobbies in the ground floor. All of them are double height, again with plush materials like marbles and plush furniture. So just so that residents can have a superior experience, right, when they're interacting with the podium-related amenities and all. So this was one major aspect, right? And then came the lift lobbies. So this is again one area where a lot of people congregate and I would say, use these facilities. So again, see, if you actually look at all the imagery and the design aspect, right, a lot of this was inspired from the 5-star hotels, right? And so that was the design brief what we have given. And even in our research, when we asked our customers, okay, can you list some of the important features which a modern day community should have? Lobbies were one of the most important thing. And a lot of people did ask about the guest experience. So we combined all of this into what we call arrival experience, and we thought it should leave a lasting impression on both its guests and the residents. So that leaves, it will give a sense of, I would say, a sense of luxury when one walks into it. So this is what we did at a community scale, right? So that was the arrival plaza, the guest lobby, and then the resident lobby. Now let me talk about some of the same things what we have done at a family level, that is at an apartment level. So let me share an interesting infographic with you. So when we did again a survey from our customers, we asked them which of these is a mark of luxury within your apartment. So now we are moving towards the arrival experience within your flat, right? So you see a whooping 45% told bigger size of living room is very, very important. It's a mark of luxury. And more floor to ceiling height, 42% have mentioned that as a mark of luxury. So combined close to a whooping 87% have told that was luxury for us is the entire living room experience, right? The entire, I would say, the materials used there, the sizes, the heights, this is what is luxury, right? So we picked up from that and then we went detailed into it. Then we asked them one more question, like which room according to you is the most important amongst the following, right? We have mentioned bedrooms and all. Again, a whooping 56% have mentioned the living room. So you can see undoubtedly the living room stands out as the most important aspect of our family life, of our apartment, right? So what did we do with respect to the living room? So just one second, I'm getting my thing in order. Yes, it's working. Great. So so all these inputs have prompted us to design the largest living room in its class. We have a 16 feet by close to 12 feet size living room. So, where people can, put any size of furniture and really take up the space. We have even, went in further details, and, if you look at the living room design, there is right when you open the door at the corner, there is a feature wall. This was again very interesting aspect of it. When we spoke with our customers and then with a few interior designers, in the modern day, in the current generation of interior design, the feature wall is coming out as a very important aspect of it. It is a standout wall where you're going to put your painting, a well-lit wall, or any art or deco which is very personal to the family. So this has got a right when you open the door, you see straight ahead there's a very big feature wall, and you could decorate it in however you could personalize it the way you want, thereby bringing in the flavor to your apartment. So we have developed the biggest living room in its class, and I would like to even mention about the height. See, again, height also was something which people mentioned in the surveys, right? Close to 42% said height of the flat is a sign of its luxury. So in Loft, we are designing typically most of the projects have around 3 meters slab to slab height. That is gross height, right? 3 meters slab to slab. In Loft, we are giving 3.15 meter. That's close to 4.5 inches more height in the apartment. So that will greatly add to the grandeur of the space and make you feel much better, much more luxury, right? And we are even giving one of the best-in-class doors. So we are going for 8 feet height doors, and at the 8 feet height is net height. So the height of the door would be 8 feet tall, and all internal doors also would be the same one. I just need to clarify on that. But the main door is a 8 feet tall, 8 feet height one. So that's how we have designed your living room, where we are focused on the size of it. Next, we are focused on some of the features of it, like the feature wall, and then even the height of your entire apartment, so that you get a very vibrant and a very luxury feel right when you're living into your house. Right? So this is some of the imagery of your living room. I think. One second, I think there's some. Yeah, working. So you can see this is the image of your living room. So and you see the wall with the mirrors, right? That's your feature wall. That the residents can design it, can personalize it, and however they want, and put in their flavor to the house. So this is one of the key aspect of Loft. So just to iterate of what I've spoken, so we have we focused on the entire arrival experience part, making an impression. At a community scale, we focused on the entire entrance drive-through lobby, the entrance lobby, and the guest lobby, the resident lobbies, and the lift lobbies. And at a family scale, we focused on the entire living room experience and the flat experience with respect to height, the ceiling heights. So before I move on to the next chapter, I just want to take a poll. So yeah, we keep taking this poll so that the session is more interactive, and I get a more feedback on what you guys are thinking, and it'll really help us going forward. So I'll be launching the poll, and we'll roughly take around 30 to 40 seconds before people poll, and then maybe we can discuss the results before we move on. So I think the poll is projected on your screen. So I'll just read it out. Which of these features are most important, are you most impressed with? So you can see the options. So you can select any one of the following. We'll take around 30 seconds before we declare the results, and maybe have a small chat on it before we go forward. Please, select your answer. It will really, help us in thinking help us in knowing what you're thinking. Maybe around 15 seconds more. Another 5 seconds. For those of you who have not polled, please poll. 3, 2, 1, done. Great. I'm ending the poll, and let's discuss the results. See, and it'll, see. Let me see what you guys are thinking. So, can we post the poll results? Okay. So, oh, great. A whooping 50% of you have said the biggest the best in-class living room is something which you are most impressed with. Okay, great. And 20% with the grand entrance and cascading water body, and double height resident lift and guest lobbies. Great. So I think this gives us a good feedback on what's your preferences, right? So thank you for that. So now let's head into the chapter number 2, right? So great. So let's head into chapter number 2, the new phenomenon of work from home, right? And what is it? So how did we address this problem? What solutions did we come up with in Loft? So, work from home is something which is very ubiquitous, very common these days in our lifestyles, right? So I feel like, the entire concept of co-working spaces is something which is the future, which the concept of hybrid work is here to stay. And how does the product, how does Loft cater to its residents' needs, right? So what are the solutions we did? We came up against that. Again, we conducted a lot of detailed surveys, focus group studies, polls with most of our customers, around 1,500 customers, and they have mentioned various things about this. In fact, they prompted us through these surveys that we need to come up with a solution regarding work from home, because it's something which is very common and something which definitely there is great room to improve from the point of view of communities, right? So we asked this question to our customers: how often do you work from home? And if you see a whooping, close to 87% said they're exposed to work from home in some format or other. People are doing permanent work from home. People are working from home 3 to 4 times a week, and some people are doing 1 to 2 times a week. There is only a certain small, like 13% of the people now are saying they're not working from home at all. So 87% are working from home. So you can imagine how much of, how common it has become, right? Especially post-pandemic, everybody is like working from home in some format or the other. And then that definitely, now we see that suddenly lifestyle has changed. So now what sort of solutions do we come up, right? So then we went and asked one more question further. So, okay, now that it's quite evident that you guys are working from home, what is it that a co-working space would add value? Like how would it add value to you? So probably, yeah. So this is how we designed the co-working space. Again, one of the key aspects while designing that was accessibility. We wanted it to be very, very convenient, very easily accessible, not tucked away in some corner where it takes long time to go or people are not really interested. And we were very, very cognizant about the entire look, feel, and the environment of the space, right? So that, again, and we wanted it to keep as close as possible to some of the best offices, so that people are not, people don't get alienated from some of the the office environment, the feels of the office environment, right? Because sometimes just working from home might get taxing or might get really, really boring. So we set up close to 5,000 square feet of co-working space right underneath the tower, so people can access it. Just you can just take your lift and come down, and I would say less than 100 steps you can access the co-working space. And again, we focused on all facilities. Again, this is just not like giving some work desk. No, again, that wouldn't really solve the problem, right? We would want people to really be excited coming here and working than even working from their office. That's the level of aesthetic and functionality what we wanted to build into it. So first we made a big, decent sized space. It's close to 5,000 square feet, and it houses close to 50 to 55 workstations, and with 4 dedicated conference rooms, which you can book through our resident app as well, so that you can seamlessly use the space and network with your community and the other residents there, so that you don't feel boredom of just working in your home, right? Just staying there 24/7. So these are some of the imagery of the work from home stations. Again, we tried to keep it very boho, very, I would say, young and chic. So very informal structure. So it can facilitate for individual style of working. a discussion style, a group working, right? Or it can even like, I'll even be showing the meeting rooms, so where they can do more, where they can attend the meeting rooms. And again, this will have all state-of-the-art printers and furniture requirement, because when we did research, how a co-working space would add value, close to 30% people said one of the biggest pain point when they're working from home is inaccessibility to office infrastructure, like printers, stationery, and all. So again, that also we had to take care. So, this is some of the, this was the infographic I was mentioning. A co-working space in your living community would help you when you see 20 or close to 29% say access to resources like meeting rooms and such thing, and a change in scene, being more productive. So see, these are some of the things which we found. The problems of co-working, problems of work from home. Of course, work from home has terrific advantages, like it saves up in your travel time, right? And naturally we are able to spend that time more on our personal things, like spending time with family or any personal errands. So it does give great amount of time. It's a big time saver, but there are some problems with it that, there is no particular differentiation or distinction between work-life balance. So people are unable to distinguish between, okay, this is my work hours, this is not my work hour. Which in the case of office, it's easy. When you're in office, you're in the office environment, so that's your work hour. When you're not there, then it's not that. So that's why the change of space is very, very important for the psychological change as well. So that's why we thought that we had to come up with the co-working space. And another great value, how it adds also, you see, post-pandemic, right, especially what we have been seeing, there's a sudden surge for bigger spaces, requirement for bigger floor plans, right? Let's say somebody who wanted to buy 2,000 square feet suddenly is realizing that, okay, I need 300 square feet more because I'm working from home, I need to set up my workspace at home. So by essentially, by taking 300 square feet more in an area like financial district, one has to pay 30 lakhs more. And second thing, you're working in isolation, which definitely has problems like you're working out of the same area, you're not actively networking or interacting with people. It does have its own, I would say, mental impacts, right? So those are some of the cons of co-working space. So that's where we came up with the idea of, can we provide a facility which is much better than the offices or closer to some of the best offices out there, so that people would really enjoy, they get really the gains of working from home in the point of view that, okay, they end up saving their travel time and all of that, and yet don't forego don't forego things like networking, things like, boredom of just staying within the house, and be present in a working environment, and then be closer to the entire office infrastructure like meeting rooms, stationery, and etc. So that's why I feel like, the co-working space as Loft has been designed by taking all these inputs into constraints, all these inputs into design. So, and again, our customers themselves have mentioned all these things. So we have taken all these things and implemented these designs. So these are some of the imagery of the meeting rooms. So there are 4 meeting rooms in Loft. So you guys can, book this meeting room through the Resident app and probably use it, right? So it will give you great flexibility. I mean, it will give you a lot of infrastructure. You can do your meetings from there. And even another interesting point also I would like to cite is the concept of, most of the communities, now there are a lot of residents who are coming up with their own startups, right? I think if I'm not wrong, that's close to 2 to 3% of the residents are coming up with their own startups while working in their professional gig. So this sort of space will even help them in, nurturing that startup in its early stage and things like that. So I think this would greatly add, to the productivity and greatly solve the work from home problem for the residents. And yet at the same time not being working only in one corner of the house, you will be working amongst people. So the sense of working in office can be retained, right? This is a networking zone, so, and again, even the style of furniture also, we are selecting that, we're coming up in such a way so that it can accommodate multi-styles, right? So individual style, I would say more casual style, networking, or a more serious style. So all of that, so that some of these designs will see more improvisations as we go ahead. So this concludes the chapter 2, where we discussed about the co-working spaces on facility in Project Loft. and the thesis behind that. So let me take a poll before I move into the next chapter, right? So how often do you work from home? So I wanted to know, now particularly from the Loft residents and people who are interested in Loft. So does this facility really suit your your current lifestyles? So let me launch the. I think we've launched the poll. Great. So close to 75% are now working from home in Loft. Wonderful. So almost 15% people are doing permanent work from home. So this space would be of great value for them. And another 23% are doing, so 1/4 are doing 3 to 4 days, and 37% are doing 1 to 2 days a week, and 25% don't work from home. So hopefully this space will convince them to work from home at least once a week. So great. So that's what that's the thesis behind what we have done with regarding the co-working spaces in Loft. So now let's move to the next chapter. It's around childcare. What is it that we did about childcare, right? So one of the key aspects is giving the best childhood, right? And as a young parent, I have 2 kids. The elder one is 3 years and the younger one is 1 year old. So I constantly think about them. Okay, what time are they going to play? What's up with their crash, or what's up with their entire child care related facilities and everything. So there's something very much on mind of most of our customers. Right, almost I would say close to 40% of our customers are in the 30 to 35 age group, the millennials. So most of them have, I would say, the 1 to 3 year age group kids. So we really wanted to solve for that problem, right? Making sure kids have the best facilities, and at the same time, right, the facilities needs to give the convenience to the parents, right? So that was very important for us. So here again, we reached out to our customers. So again, this was something which our customers only have mentioned, right? Everything about the importance of having a creche or importance about a childcare facility on a gated community. So when we asked them a question, what is a great added feature of a quality creche facility? You see, a whooping 40% of them have said indoor-outdoor spaces are very important. And something very interesting people have mentioned, 25% have mentioned flexible timings. So this was something very new for us. So when we, again spoke with our customers, especially young mothers, 72% of our customers have both wife and husband working. So they mentioned that, by the time they sign off from their work and come home, it takes like evening 6 or 7. So they wanted, the childcare facility on site to provide services until 7 in the evening, so that they can sign off from their work and they can, then they can easily take care of the child. So that was very key, important feedback what we got. So then let me briefly discuss about the design of the creche. A very important feature. Again, the creche is also close to 5,000 square feet of covered space, right? It has got multiple zones. It's got an indoor play zone, right? And by the way, this is the biggest creche in the gated community segment. Now, not just in this segment, in the entire gated community segment of Hyderabad, this is the biggest creche and one of its kind. So the indoor place is, again the creche is placed right underneath the tower, so that it's easily accessible by anybody and somebody can reach in really quick. And another advantage it gave us with by keeping it on the ground floor is access to the outdoor spaces. You have seen in the poll that close to 40% have mentioned the indoor-outdoor spaces are something very important for a creche. So by keeping in the ground floor, it's very ingress and egress is very easy. People can, kids can really, just move around seamlessly. And when we spoke with even a creche provider, right, creche service provider, so we took their inputs in designing it. I'll share a story. Like, when my kid started going to the creche, for the first 1 month, he used to not go into the classroom. He used to just cry if they go into the classroom for some reason. They used to just, go out in the open and just play. And eventually they got accustomed to the place, and that's when they started going in the classroom. So the creche designer have told us that it's very, very important that a creche have direct access to outdoor play space, so that kids are not bogged down suddenly by this new environment. and like, it becomes really difficult for them to get adjusted to the space. So the creche here is provided right on the ground floor on the podium level, and it has got access to the entire outdoor play space as well. One, it got an indoor play space. This is the indoor play space, right? So, and again, all of this is part of the creche. And we have even taken the details of design where the toilets provided for the creche are baby-sized toilets. So the commodes and all would be baby sizes, right? So it's easy for them to use. And we are even planning to rope in some of the best creche service providers so that they are able to, provide a top-notch service. Because to, probably see where we see is like, end of the day, it's not just about giving the space. We need to give the space, and we need a right service provider. So ultimately, the consumer consumes the service, not the space, right? So we are in talks with several, top creche providers to come and operate this. So hopefully, we'll be able to come up with that announcement maybe in a couple of quarters, right? So yeah, coming back to this, yeah, the creche has an indoor play area, and then you see a massive, close to, if I'm not wrong, close to around 12,000 square feet of outdoor play area, where the kids can just seamlessly move in and move out. This will greatly make it easy for them to get acclimatized to the creche conditions. And if you actually see in the plan, right, just in the other tower ground floor, there's a co-working space. So we have really, I think that will add great value, because the parents can really come and drop off their kids at the creche and work on the ground, same floor in just the abutting tower. So they'll have good visibility. They can just drop in by, see how their child is doing. So it'll give them a great sense of, I would say, comfort to know what's happening there. And again, from the child perspective also, there's a good, I would say, a detailed analysis, and a lot of child-related sensitivities have been taken care in the design. And then then this is for most of the kids in the 1 to, I would say, 3-year segment, right? Then we again took feedback from our customers, and then everything got to do with what to do about once they start going to schools, then what are the sort of facilities they would be needing. So there we focused on the hobby center and the tuition center, right? So where people can probably take their digital online classes from there, or if they have a in-person tuition teacher coming over. So there is a tuition, there are almost 2 dedicated tuition rooms, and close to 6 sort of places where they can do tuitions and that sort of setup, and they can do their hobby and project work. Because again, one aspect of a community life is there will be quite a few kids going to the same school from the community, right? So they can do their project work and all of that together. So that was another key thing what we focused. So overall, you can see the entire space sums up to 22,000 square feet of childcare amenities, addressing both the 1 to 3 year age group and the 5 to probably 12-year age group. So all those things have been taken care, and and that's how we designed Loft, right? So this is some of the imagery of the creche. So you can see how it's going to look like, right? So it's even the colors, even I would say the equipment and everything would be child friendly, and would be the sensitivities of children would be taken care in the design. This is the indoor play area, right, for kids. This is the hobby and the tuition center, right? So it's time for a poll. So let me know what you guys are thinking with respect to this. So I'm going to launch the poll. So what feature of the urban corridor will be most useful for your children? So please poll and let us know what you're thinking. Okay, so the indoor play area is 21%, hobby and tuition 17%, all of the above 58%. Great. And it means we sort of got the design aspect right. So perfect. Right, so yeah, because I think the childcare was very, very important for us. See, I'll add one more story here before I move on to the next one. Growing up, I grew up in a neighborhood building, like a 5-floor building, right? By end of the month, I used to see my mother used to maintain a khata of all the gas cylinders which she borrowed from the neighbors, and the neighbors borrowed from us. Now, if you look at our generation, right, we don't do any such thing, because the gas is comes to a centralized mechanism. So can we see the gated community as a product line as solved for utilitarian needs of the customer? The next aspect, the next dimension is can it solve much beyond that, much more than utility? Can it solve for lifestyle needs of the customer? So that's how I feel the work from home and the childcare facilities can really, really help us, right? So that's what I think Loft is. So in Loft, I would really want the children to have a great life there, and on top of that, most important for the parents, the convenience and the comfort of having a world-class creche at facility is something which we wanted to offer. Right now, let me move on to next chapter. Chapter 4, where it's all about health and fitness. Again, something very, very important aspect of our life, right? So we just came up, never bored and never boring. So why we mention that? Because as a fitness enthusiast myself, the biggest pain point with respect to the entire health and fitness aspect is the point that boredom is is the biggest thing. We go and do the same thing day in and day out. We are going to be fatigued by it. And even when we polled and spoke with people, they did refer to that. Boredom as being one of the biggest reason in dropping out of your fitness regime. In fact, most of our customers have told on an average, within a span of 4.5 weeks, they drop out of their workout regime, whatever they set for themselves. So we really want to tackle the boredom problem. So it's not just about giving a gym. It's not just about giving some facility for the brochure perspective. That really doesn't solve for the lifestyle need of the customer, right? So let me give a little brief about the health and fitness facilities at Loft, and let me explain about some of them. So the gym in total is around 5,000 square feet. So we wanted to do something unique with the gym here. Typically, if you look, most of the gyms have a strength training studio and a cardio studio, and eventually people get bored of these, and then nobody ends up using them apart from 10% really enthusiastic people. So we really wanted to tackle that problem. So we came up with the idea of multiple studios within a gym, right? So the gym at Loft will have a strength training studio, right, and a cardio studio, and then a calisthenics studio, something very, very unique and one of its kind, right, which is more sort of a body weight training, and something like your kickboxing, right? So, and it's split into 2 levels. So this is on the 2nd floor. It comes with its own calisthenics studio, and then we have the yoga and the Zumba class space right beside the calisthenics studio, right? And so we wanted to package multiple studios in the health and fitness. That's why we don't want to call it a gym. We want to call it health and fitness infrastructure, where it has multiple studios and multiple facilities, so that it really tackles the boredom problem, and at the same time there's a sense of excitement doing each of this, and people can really experiment with different forms of workouts. So on an average, they end up working out more than what they were doing before. So that was one very key aspect of the entire design of the health and fitness facilities in Loft. So again, the gym is overlooked by swimming pool, so we really wanted to get in that sort of I would say a resort sort of thing, sort of feel, where people can work out and then go into a spa and then probably experience the swimming pool. Right, this is again the yoga and the Zumba space. And again, another key aspect is even sports as part of the health and fitness center, right? So we focused on, again, badminton is something which was something very dear to our customers, and most of the people are play and use this facility. So one unique thing in Loft is, if you look, most of the communities in Financial District, close to 2,000 flats have 3 badminton courts. In Loft, we have 894 flats and we have 3 badminton courts. So that way we have a better ratio going forward. I would say almost double to what's available in the market out there. So that the wait time will be less and the availability of the space would be better than the other projects in the area. So this is some of the imagery of the facility. So this is how it's going to look. So this is a imagery of the gym, right? And this is sort of a kickboxing studio. We are even exploring if we can put in a couple of Pilates machines, because Pilates is also something which a lot of the people are excited about. So we are still in the process of deciding that. And this is the calisthenics studio, the level above. This is the swimming pool which is overlooking the fitness studio, the yoga and the Zumba space. This is badminton courts. There are 3 in number. So this is again one interesting infographic which I wanted to share again when we polled previously with our customers. So when we asked them what are the types of workouts you prefer, so you see it's spread across the board. There's nothing gets a significant majority. So this led us to the point of, okay, we need to have multiple studios within the health and fitness center. So people can really, explore what they like and then, probably, get better at whatever they are interested in. And another aspect also, we are seeing that the entire, the future of workout also is slowly moving to a lot of group classes. That's something which we are observing. Hopefully by the next time when we meet, I'll be able to come up with a better update on this. Because again, with the gym facility also, what we are thinking is, one is we're giving a very good facility. We really want to rope in a very good service provider as well. Because the aspect of having a trainer and the aspect of working out together in groups is really going to improve the entire health and fitness regime of our residents. So that also we are sort of working out with some of the fitness service providers to come and operate the space. Hopefully we get a good vendor. So probably by next ROTC I'll be able to give you an update on that. Right. So some of the other add-on things is. We have a dedicated squash. We have a squash court in Loft. We have a big football turf and a box cricket turf. So these turf grounds are like what you see in some of the rooftops of some of the commercial buildings, right, in Gachibowli and High-Tech City area. So this would be similar to that. So people can play sort of football and box cricket. So again it can engage more number of people, and then it can be done as a more like a group sport. Thereby again even fostering relationship with residents and all. And then we have indoor games room. In fact, with the indoor games room, probably now that we have a research platform, we'll be sending out various polls to you guys, because the indoor games room is something where we want more of your feedback. What is it that you guys will be using more? Because sometimes I do see in communities the billiards room or some of these space, carom board ka room, they're not being used as much. See, there's no point in giving unused spaces, because it'll just become like a dark corner. So we will send out a few polls maybe eventually down the line. This is one area where we want your feedback on what do you think we should put there so it will be used much better, right? So that we'll be getting to you. And there are various such amenities. We have a basketball court as well for kids, right? So again, it's time for a poll. So let's see, what is it that you guys are thinking. So I've presented the poll. So please select your option. What's your most preferred approach to staying healthy and fit? So close to 44% have selected more sort of sports. Wonderful. And 34% walking and jogging. Okay, great. Actually, one more point I wanted to mention around walking and jogging also, right? So we have made sure that in Loft the entire walking track we are giving epitome flooring. So that's soft on your knees. When we spoke with, because this point did come up in our surveys, people of all age groups, walking is something which is both, they use it both for fitness and as well for, it's a social activity. People walk in groups, they converse with their friends and other residents, right? So walking was something very important for us, and then we wanted to really come up with better solution on that. So the entire walking track in Loft project has EPDMS flooring, which is very soft on your knees and which is recommended by doctors. See, walking on concrete is extremely, extremely damaging on your knees. So, and since walking being such a prime time activity, so we really wanted to go, give a much, we really wanted to solve for that problem and give a top-notch solution. So the entire walking track in Loft has EPDMS. So it will be soft on your knees and it's recommended by the doctor. So that's one great value add what we have done with respect to walking, right? So now let's move on to the last chapter of the design brief, what we call practical luxury. Again, in this day and age, right, and where in most couples, both wife and husband are working. This thing which is most deficit is time, right? So can the community really help people in providing utilitarian services so that it can save them on their time, right? So we came up with the concept of practical luxury, where the challenge was, can people reach out to most of the daily utilities within 100 steps? And again, mind you, this is not to get anybody lazy. We in no way want you to become lazy, but we wanted to save time for you guys. So probably you can finish these things faster and still complete the 10,000 steps walking or jogging around the facility. But yeah, the entire concept of practical luxury came up with the thesis that can consumers really, solve for most of their utility needs in just 100 steps. The convenience became very, very important, and we feel convenience is one super form of luxury. Luxury lies in convenience, right? So that's the entire element of practical luxury. So in this line, we set up various facilities. Like we set up a supermarket and pharmacy on campus, on facility, and again, this too is provided on the ground floor in the urban corridor. Again, something which is very easily accessible and people can get in, get out. Let me share a statistic also. There is almost 80% drop in footfalls if the space is removed from the ground floor to first floor itself, right? So by keeping it on ground floor, the footfalls will be higher, which is good for the business there, and we can really rope in a better service provider for this. So for supermarket services, we have roped in Ratnadeep. They will be offering services here, so they would be operating the facility. So that's one thing. And the next important thing was a salon and spa. Again, see, all these things are daily utilities, which will really save us a lot of time if it's really close by. And the entire salon and spa space provided on campus is operated by Bubbles, which is a very well-known salon and spa brand locally. So Bubbles would be operating the facility. And then another key aspect when we were doing research is the entire concept about locker facility. I think the ATM not really, because these days people are using a lot of UPI, so ATM I think is which was not used much. But the locker facility was something which people cited towards to store their valuable items like gold or several other valuable items. So in Loft we have tied up with ICICI Bank. So ICICI Bank will be having a branch at facility, and they will be having a locker facility, so exclusively for residents. So you guys can use that. And another important thing was the entire concept of clinic, the medical office on facility. So so we have given close to around 600 to 800 square feet of medical office on facility, on site, and with close to 2 clinic rooms. And we are in talks with the various top hospital chains to come and to partner with them so that they can supply doctors in rotation. We have even taken feedback from customers on what sort of doctors they would need. Of course, demand also would probably be driving it much better, but we're making sure at least they send in pediatricians, cardiologists, endocrinologists, and orthopedicians for now. And of course, the community can decide as per their requirement. So we felt these 4 are very, very essential utilities of day-to-day living, and it would add great value to the community if we can, if they can access this within 100 steps. And another important innovation what we have done here also is that 3 out of the 4 such facilities, we have brought in the best service provider out there. Like for supermarket, we have brought in Ratnadeep. So along with Ratnadeep comes their quality and their standards of operations. And for the spa and salon, we have brought in Bubbles. So you can expect a certain standard of services. The bank ke liye ATM, most of our customers who are in the IT services have their payroll with ICICI Bank, so it will be much easier for them to transact. And for clinic also, we are talking with a few hospital chains. Hopefully by the next ROTC, we will be able to come up with an announcement of whom we have roped in for that, so that it, people know. See, gone are the days, I think, where people are just buying space. Today, just by selling space, it's not going to work. You need to sell space, and you need to add a very good service layer on top of it, because ultimately people consume the services. So a unique concept in Loft is we have designed for we have designed each of this space keeping in mind the entire design thesis of each of the space. and even partnering with the best-in-class service providers so that we can, a top-notch service is delivered to the residents, and so this entire quotient of ease of living can be achieved. Because going forward, I think ease of living is something which is very, very important. It should be way easier to live in our communities compared to our neighboring communities, and we feel this will be a great competitive advantage going into future. So we will be continuously announcing as and when we rope in these service providers, right, to probably make the entire living quotient easier. So this is some of the imagery of our designs. So this is how the salon would be coming up. Another key aspect what we are doing from Loft onwards, right? Typically what happens is developers only give space, right? The bare shell they give out, and the corresponding vendor, whoever is operating, they come in and do the interiors. So we wanted to take a different approach from Loft onwards, because when we saw most of these vendors, they do not really do, I would say, aesthetic interiors. And aesthetics are very important on the usability of the space, right? So, and another thing also is that, by the time they come and do their thing, the place is already done. They really can't change certain things and improve the functionality. So in Loft, we did a unique thing where we are providing the entire interiors and all we are doing as a developer, and the vendor is only doing the operations part. So that the aesthetics have been taken into mind, because typically Bubbles wouldn't be investing to create such type of spaces, but we can as developers, right? Because ultimately it's important for us, because the resident, we want to give that, the super experience to our residents. So that's something very unique what we are doing from Loft onwards. So we are doing the physical space and we are doing the interiors, so that we can really focus on the aesthetics as well, not lose the aesthetics while the spaces are executed. So this is the banquet hall. Banquet hall was something very, very a utilitarian and much needed amenity, right? So if you look, in the vicinity, especially in financial district, any decent convention center will cost anywhere close to ₹1,00,000. So, we really wanted to provide great experience here and probably save up on that to our consumers, and, give again a top-notch experience there, right? And this is the guest bedrooms. Again, the entire aspect of guest is something very, very important, and something which our customers have told that's very dear to them. They want their guests to be treated well. So this is how the guest bedrooms will be looking, and I think there are approximately 4 in numbers, right? So it's time for one last poll. So I'll be launching the poll. So the question is, which of these practical luxury amenities are you most excited about? So please mention your answers, guys. So supermarket gets the lion's share. So close to 40% of the people think that's a much needed space. Great. So we are working with the best partner in the city according to that, Ratnadeep, right? And then the ATM and bank locker, 32%. Oh, great. And then the salon and spa and pharmacy, which will be part of the supermarket. Great, perfect. So then it means we have, and yeah, so we've got, as you have seen, it's not just about the space. We are even bringing in the best-in-class service providers, so that the service is delivered in top-notch, right? So probably that concludes the 5 key aspects which I wanted to discuss with you guys. So probably before we move on to the next phase, I just want to put one more poll and take in your feedback. What features are you most excited about it at Loft? So I've launched the polls. Please, guys, poll. Oh, great. Majority, 50% have said they like all the above, and 27% have mentioned the room-sized outdoor living balconies. Again, the outdoor living balcony has been something very unique and very dear to us. In fact, we were the developers who introduced that concept to Hyderabad, and we received great feedback. So thank you so much for that. The co-working space and the practical amenities. Great. So see, that's what we are offering at Loft. So it's not just about the the home or the flat. It's about the entire living aspect. See, as a developer, what do our products do? Our products are supposed to solve for the lifestyle problems, right? So that's around which we need to develop solutions. So the concept in Loft has been, the main focus has been ease of living. So that's something which we want to strive for and get better as we keep going on. So thank you so much for your feedback. So now that you've seen behind the scenes, see, all of this presentation was about what led to the design of Loft, right? So the work from the co-working spaces, the creches, the lobbies, all of this. So now all of this culminates into what we'll be showing you now. We'll be presenting to you the 3D walkthrough. So all of this culminates into that. So guys, so that was the walkthrough. So all the inputs, all these design brief is as what has led us to create ASBL Loft. Right? So before I move on also, I want to present a small video on what's happening at site. So far we have spoken on the design lines and we have presented the walkthrough. Now I want to show what's happening at site, so you know what's happening there. So that too will be a small video. Let's take a live tour of the site. So that's about what's happening at site. So we are almost 95% of the excavation is done, close to 100% I think, a little bit here, rocks here and there. And the concreting works have just begun. So we have, the project has set sail, and hopefully, we want to give much ahead of the schedule. So we'll be constantly posting the updates, the live progress reports, frequently once a month and all on the YouTube channel. So I would say please subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you'll be getting these updates. So before we move on to the Q&A session, just one thing I wanted to present. So I wanted to present the Loft brochure. So we were again very focused on the entire experience aspect of it. We took in a lot of feedback from the and we have observed the entire coffee table books, right? So how they should be looking and all. So we have designed again the best-in-class brochure. There is, I would say, this is the most luxurious brochure out there. So it comes with a magnetic casing, so you can open it this way. And then it's got the colors of prosperity, maroon and gold upon it. So I present to you Loft brochure. So I would, great. So guys, now let's go on to the next session of the presentation, right? So this would be a live Q&A session. So you guys can post in questions. So our team would be, so the questions would be done in a Slido platform. So they would be posting in the, sorry. Just 1 second, I'm getting the, guys, this thing. Right, the Q&A session. So please drop your questions in the Slido platform. So there will be a QR code and there will be links of the Slido platform which they'll be posting in the comments section. So click on that and submit your questions in the Slido platform. And if at all somebody thinks their question has already been asked, please upvote so that will be coming up the questions list, and I'll be able to answer that. So you can post a question, or you can click the upvote feature. Great, I think the questions have begun coming in. I'll wait for 2 minutes and I'll probably start answering them. And as we go on also, people can continuously keep posting the question. Great. I think let's start answering the questions. So the first one is, in a high-rise community, I have concern on number of lifts and waiting time at respective floors. How does Loft solve this? So sir, regarding this, if you look at the floor level, there are 10 flats, and we are providing for 10 resident lifts and 1 service lift. And again, the aspect of wait time is something which we did study in the vertical transportation section of the design. And so these things have been taken care of. Another aspect also what we are working towards is probably giving sort of a key cards, right? The magnetic key cards which most of us use in 5-star hotels, where you swipe the card and then press the floor number you want to go. We are doing this so that we can keep the resident lift only for resident use. Because when we did traffic analysis, there are 3 key groups who will be using the elevators. One is the residents, other is the support and service staff, the maids and the housekeepers, and other is the entire delivery staff, the Swiggy, Amazon, these guys. So for all the utilities, right, for all the support staff and delivery staff, there is a exclusive service elevator, so they will be using that, hence not crowding up these lifts. And even with respect to the resident lift, there is 1 per each flat at a floor level. So there are 10 flats per floor and there are 10 lifts per floor. So that would greatly solve for that problem. Right? Next one is no pre-EMI reimbursement was till terrace completion in Spectra, but why 30th floor in Loft? I think in Loft also it's up to 30th floor, sir. I think there would have been some miscommunication. In Loft also, the pre-EMI will be till terrace completion. But I think at 30th floor, one of the 30th floor milestone needs to be paid by the customer, if I'm not wrong. I think, so that's what it is. And you can, for further details, you can get in touch with your CRM team. But the pre-EMI will be paid till completion of the terrace, just like all our other projects. right? Next, what level of customization can I do in the apartment? Sir, so no structural customizations is possible because it's a shear wall structure. So the walls too are load-bearing entities. Having said that, you can do skin level customizations. You can probably change the flooring or change some of the CP and sanitary equipment sort of thing, but no structural thing. So that's what is possible. Next one, is there any pre-launch offer? No, sir, there is no pre-launch offer. In Loft, we received funding from the bank and they closely monitor our sales MIS, so there will not be any pre-launch offer, I'm sorry. Will there be a third-party verification like done in My Home, etc.? Yeah, we are working towards that. We are working towards that. Hopefully, once that's done, I will, we'll announce it out in the form of a letter or something. Generally, B1 parking is reserved for higher floors, but in Loft, it's opposite. Why is that? Sir, see, one thing with regarding to parking, I will say there are 4 basements. Somebody has to stay in that. There is nothing like higher floor. See, higher floor apartment has a premium view, right? So that's its biggest advantage, right? So the basements have to be distributed out. So there has been a traffic analysis and all of that, and in line with that, we sort of designed the basements. So it's sort of see, one thing at least we believe in is putting all the information up front. There has been a certain standard and certain theory what we followed, and that's how the parkings and the basements were allotted. Are amenities free of cost for residents? Sir, regarding amenities, I think just like any other facility, I think there will be basic usage charge, which will be, I would say, similar to what other communities are charging out there. I'll tell you the reason also why. See, basically, the developer is handing over the space, right? And once the usage starts, there needs to be operation layer, right? There needs to be the corresponding operation staff who needs to be paid for and all of that. That's why we charge the nominal fees to use the spaces. So it won't be too much, but it would be applicable and that amount will be used to pay the operation staff. If we don't do that, then you're not going to have an operation staff out there, and hence the space only becomes unusable. So we don't want that, right? Next, why the final payment changed from 45th floor to 30th floor slab? Please let me know tentatively how many months we will get the PMA offer. So the 45th floor has been changed to 30th floor slab, sir, because we have seen in Spire and Spectra, once the 40th floor milestone comes, and that's when the PMA also stops, people are taking way too much time in paying their dues. That's something which needs to be paid in 15 days, they are taking close to 2 months. So which is really increasing our interest expense and all. So that's why we moved it down to the 30th floor. And approximately how many months? I think it should be around 20 to 24 months if I'm not wrong, depending on the progress of construction. I think roughly around 20 to 24 months, plus minus a month here and there. Next, whether to go for My One or non-My One. Oh, sorry, the question is replaced. There are few luxury items included in the project. Yes, how is the maintenance guaranteed by ASBL from a longer run? So with respect to maintenance, we are also exploring multiple models, right? So we have Spire handover this year in another couple of months. So there we have partnered with CBRE. So CBRE would be doing the entire facility maintenance, and CBRE has been doing maintenance all around for most projects in Hyderabad. So they will come with that experience. So hopefully, by the time Loft handover comes, that particular relationship would be much better developed and the teething issues will be solved. So, I believe we will be able to offer a far better experience. So today I cannot really say whether which agency we will be doing, whether we will be doing or whether a third-party agency will be doing the entire maintenance part. But as we go towards the end, we'll be sharing our thoughts on this and our actions on that. What will be the expected base price during handover time? So see, with respect to the price side, right? So this is a speculative thing. What I believe, I'll say, again, this is purely my opinion, and things can change. See, my idea is we have designed Loft by keeping in the entire needs of the customers, right? So definitely a product like this will have great demand even in the future. So that's what we believe in. But having said that, yes, a lot of our projects like Spectra and all have seen great appreciation. So there is great demand in the financial district area. So we expect the demand to go forward. That's what I would say. Why Loft CRM is asking to take loans from Bajaj Finance only? Okay, good question. So sir, with respect to this question, right, see the entire pre-EMI offer is a cost which the developer is borne, right? So when we partner with various banks, with Bajaj they have given, so this is not an offer which only the developer is giving. I just want everybody to be on board. This is not an offer which developer exclusively is giving. This offer of pre-EMI, we along with Bajaj together have stitched together this financial package, right? So that's why this offer is only applicable with Bajaj Housing Finance. So there will be some sort of cost benefits for us. So it's a financial package which the builder and banker has together come out with. It's not the builder alone. So right, so that's why it's only Bajaj. Is there a temple planned, as people request in last ROTC as well? Yes, sir. There's a temple planned. The temple is planned, and we will be associating with J.R. Swami Trust. So they would be operating and doing the entire Seva Karikram of the God. So the entire calendar would be designed by them, and their pujaris would be operating it. Yes, a temple is planned. Whether to go for Maiwan or non-Maiwan, have heard about seepage issues. And then, see, first thing, sir, any high-rise structure, it's not possible to build in non-Maiwan. Point number one. So in non-Maiwan, that is a typical cast-in suit, the brick wall, the typical column beam and brick wall structure. In that, we can do approximately around 15 to 20 floors. Anything above that is not possible in that. One, from a time perspective, it takes way too long. Second thing, even from a manpower safety perspective, because in a typical cast-in suit methodology of construction, there needs to be external plastering, and people can't external plaster the building at such heights. So, and even in the city, you would have seen there are no buildings above 20 floors where they have done such methodology. So, Maiwan is the only way. Now, coming to the issue of seepages and all, there are multiple ways where we address that by, waterproofing, and right after concreting, we do jet spray of water to see where water is leaking, and we open up that part, and again we fix it, so that we proactively do it, so that even the minutest of seepage issues are also resolved. So that would probably guarantee around 90% there will not be any seepage issues, right? When can we expect a model flat and loft? Sir, so we are working out. See, it's very difficult to source land in that area, so we are working out on that. So hopefully we should come up with some announcement soon. The amenities range is interesting. How did you arrive at these concepts as a developer? So basically, sir, with respect to these questions, with respect to this, see, we treat ourselves more like a hardware company, right? Hardware designers. So we are just designing built-up space, right? So just like any software product or any hardware company, or probably the manufacturers of laptops or chipsets, there's a good requirement list which people gather, and then they move into development. So we wanted to bring in that practice from Loft. So Loft is the first project where we first did a thorough research amongst our customers, focus group studies, dipstick surveys and all, and then we came up with these are the requirements, and then we passed it on to the architects and various other consultants that this is what people want, so let's design in accordance with that. So that's how we are able to come up with unique amenities in Loft, or probably I would say one of a kind, and probably we want to do it more and more going forward. So we want to take the practice of how most of the tech industry works, where you consolidate, you gather requirements, you consolidate, and then design, not blindly designing. That will not solve for problems, right? So for how many months will we get the no pre-EMI offer? Can you give an... I've answered this question, sir. Approximately 20 to 24 months is what the pre-EMI offer one can expect, plus minus 1 month here and there, right? Why is the brochure ceiling height is mentioned 10.5 feet, but the sales team says it's around 9 feet standard height? Is there any issue to have it? Oh, I think then the sales team is communicating wrong. I'll ask them to get it corrected. It's not 9 feet standard height. It's 10 feet 4.5 inches. I think even in the brochure, then the way that 4.5, they would have taken it as 5. No, it's 10 feet 4 to 4.5 inches, so 3.15 meter. Typical heights of most of the buildings are 3 meters. This is 3.15 meter. So 0.15 meter, it has more. So that's around 4 to 4.5 inches. So that would be the gross height. And the net height would be depending 150 mm, I think the slab thickness and the flooring thickness would be removed. And so mota moti, you will be getting an additional close to 4 inch of more space than any of the other projects, which any of the other projects, to put it in perspective. Regarding SBI and public sector bank, sure sir, we'll get the approval with them. But mind you, when you are going through the SBI or any PSB, public sector bank or any other bank, you will not be getting the pre-MA offer. The pre-MA offer is only exclusively a financial package in partnership with Bajaj and ASBL. So they will be bearing some cost part of it. So that's why it's a together thing. So yeah, we'll get the project approval from SBI and all, but you will not be able to avail the pre-MA offer. What are the fire safety norms that you guys are following since it's a high risk? Sir, I think the fire safety norm, I'll ask the team to probably, Mr. Nihar, right? Yeah. I'll ask the team to probably, send the entire fire DBR, the design brief report to you. So that will have a list of all the technical aspects of the entire design with regarding to the fire safety. And before handover, we will be, so we already got the fire approval. Before handover, we will be getting the NOC, or sorry, the OC, occupancy certificate from the fire department. Only after that will we be able to hand over. So they'll check for whether we complied with what has been approved by the department, and I'll ask the team to share it, or probably the CRM team, you can get in touch, sir. They'll share the report with you, the fire DBR. Will ASBL be maintaining the community after handover? Sir, so essentially for the first 2 years, though, we will be maintaining. After that, we are still in the process of seeing in various communities what's the best format. Should we give it off to the RWA or should we maintain? But for the first 2 years, we'll be maintaining. We'll be maintaining it through a third party like CBRE or any of those agencies, or we might be doing it. So by the time the handover, we are close to the handover, we'll be coming up with the more exact detail of that. Because we are also doing test trials of various formats in different sites. Like in our first project, Lakeside, we maintained for 2 years and then we have given it to the community, in the process of giving it to the community. In ASBL Spire, we are maintaining it for the first 2 years through an agency, CBRE. So as more, we are testing what is the best fit. So by the time Loft, we would have done close to 2,000 handovers, so we'll be much better equipped to handle that thing. Is the co-working space free of cost for residents, or what would be the cost? Sir, regarding the policy of the usage of the space, I think we are yet to finalize that. But if I'm not wrong, I would say mota moti, for using of the co-working workspaces, I don't think we intend to keep any cost. But for the meeting rooms, it's a chargeable basis, just so that it earns revenue to pay for the maintenance and the operations staff who are working in that space. So that's how we intend to do. But again, this policy I'll be better able to come up with as we are moving closer to the handover. So we'll be drafting these policies. I think the maintenance for the first 2 years we are collecting is 108 rupees. So that's close to, if I'm not wrong, 4.25 rupees per month. That's what it is. And post that, I think it will depend, seriously, it will depend on the RWA and the market conditions on such a day. But I think that's a decent amount. It should probably suffice, is what my understanding is, unless something changes dramatically. ASBL sounds to be a great company when you are talking it to market, so that we can invite. ASBL sounds to be great. Okay, thank you. I didn't get that question. How are you taking care of water and treated water in next 10 to 15 years? Often there are issues with water treatment plant and fresh water is reducing. Sir, so there is a dedicated WTP provided on facility, right? So that will be, so there will be a ground test of water done, and basis of which all the raisins, the treatment plant would be functioning. And second, see, most of the projects in this area, right, there is a government water pipeline which is coming up in that area. So by the time the handover is done, hopefully that work would be done. And as on our part, we will be finishing with all the piping work which is required to connect to that. So most of the water would be piped water, so there's a constant supply. And Regarding the piped water also, the government has usually invested in, I think, the Krishna Phase 3 and various of these projects, so the supply of water is really good to the city. So, that's how we intend to solve for it. Crush and other facilities will be chargeable, and how will we book them? Ma'am, yes, crush would be chargeable because the service provider would be charging because they need to pay for their staff and all. For booking, ma'am, by that time, I think we'll come up with the app. In fact, our resident app is being deployed in Spire, right? So we will be, by that so using that app, you will be able to, book the facility, interact with various service providers on campus. So all of that we will build in through the app. We will make it so that, we are very focused on the ease of living and probably managing your entire living ecosystem with that app. So using that, you will be able to do it. Is the EV charging points are provided for each parking lots, or it is only a few communities, 5 to 10 common EV charging points? Sir, Mr. Chakravarti, right? Sir, so with respect to the EV charging point, currently I think what we are saying is there will be only few spots where people can go and charge, but we are exploring. See, the one problem what I have seen from that, because initially our idea was to give to each and every apartment, right, irrespective. But the problem with that, what's happening is, so because of that, there's a bigger transformer, and the bigger transformer ends up eating more electricity. So even if let's say you have an electric car, right, and you're using the charging infrastructure, then there is no problem. But in case you don't have an electric car, then irrespective of whether you use or not, because of a bigger transformer, people have to end up paying 400 rupees, around 400 rupees to 500 rupees of money for electrical billing, for the electrical usage. So that's why we have probably taken a step back, and we are contemplating on, should we give it to every car park, or should we give to few car parks out there? Maybe on this we can have a poll, or maybe, and probably take in what your concerns are, because me personally, I'm more towards the the clean energy. So I would want the convenience of having every apartment having its own electrical car charging point. But I just want to take in your opinion as well, because for those who do not have the electrical car, they will still have to pay a higher bill because the transformer is going to eat a lot more electricity, right? So probably you guys can give send in your opinions through mail or something, and we can probably address that, and then we'll fix that thing. What level of shock can this high-rises bear based on? Sir, I think if I'm not wrong, most of these buildings are designed for level 2, right? Zone 2. So there is a big guideline in the NBC, National Building Codes, regarding how the Zone 2 buildings should be designed and all of that. So all of those things have been taken in cognizance, and the approving authority, the government, also has approved those designs, and there is a third-party agency which the government sends to, like some of the top professors in the leading universities, to approve the designs. So all of those things are taken care, sir. The building elevation is in such a way that it blocks the balcony view sidewards, few floors. Can you explain? Sir, basically, that we have done mainly for the facade elevation, sir, because if we probably do not have that, then it will just be a monotonous elevation from, niche se upar, just balcony. So that's more sort of a facade place, so it has a more attractive elevation from outside. Can I get clarification about the approach road? Yeah, I think I've read. So regarding the approach road, so it's a 100-feet road. It's gift deeded to the government. Some people have mentioned that in the RERA or somewhere it's mentioned as public road. I think it would have been an error. It's a full public road. The land is also gift deeded to the government. So probably closer to the handover, government would be laying the entire BT road. If not, then we can also pitch in and do that. But probably it's better to do it closer to the handover, because now we'll be building it, so there'll be heavy trucks going on. It'll honestly get spoiled. But it's for sure a public road. The gift deed of the land is also done to the government. Government is the owner of the land. Would like to have a space for each project for connecting with CEO directly for some suggestions and collaborating between those who booked. So for collaboration with all the residents, I think maybe we are a couple of quarters away from an app. So using that app, I think the entire network, entire community can network and connect. And regarding with the CEO, sure, sir, I think I'll work out maybe a sort of an email ID where you can all send in your suggestions, and probably I can read it from there, right? ASBL is truly inspiring, which completely centric for customers. Lessons to be learned. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. I mean, it's you guys who are making us better. So it's you design. That's what we call it. Customer-led design will really make us more competent for the future. Thank you so much. Is there a pet area? Yes, sir. There's sort of a pet park where essentially I would say you can use it for pet relief, for pets to relieve themselves. That space can be used. So yeah, because again we have seen the pet infrastructure is also something which is very important, and especially around the pet relieving is a major thing. So there is a dedicated pet park where you can take the pets to relieve themselves, and then I think as per the community policy, which we can be probably closer to handover, which will be discussed or probably be finalized, there we can come up with a better pet policy where how to probably the pet engagement can be done. I would like to meet when Spectra is launched, it's 5K. Now Loft is starting with 8K. Why this is different? Feel its price a little high. Sir, so with respect to Spectra and Loft, sir, so when we purchased land at Spectra, when we purchased land at Loft, we purchased at 2.3 times more than when we purchased at Spectra time in 2018. So this was purchased in 2023. So the land prices have gone up. Second, the cost of construction has gone up. And second, even the look and finish of the project has gone up, right? The entire lobbies and all, they really cost a lot. So that way we are justifying in terms of price. So there's an overall rise in input cost. It's not exclusively only for us. There's overall rise in input cost, and yes, we are planning state-of-the-art amenities, and these things do cost. So that's how the pricing is achieved. I've heard you talk a lot about technology and data science in construction. Can you explain that exact technology? Sir, so we are using the digital twin technology, so where we create a virtual twin of the project, right? We have a virtual operational twin. So, and using the mobile app, the engineers at site constantly feed data, and the virtual twin gets a total understanding of what's happening real time, and basis of which it gives us intelligent feedback on what needs to be done, what are the corrective actions, what is the best path, dynamic critical path, and that sort of stuff. So we call it the virtual twin technology, the digital twin, sorry. Since it's high-rise and prestigious, okay, where was will the road be linked to ORR service road? I don't think the road will be linked to ORR service road, sir. The road is a dead end. It becomes a cul-de-sac, and in a way it's good because the traffic also will be less on the street, and it will have that sense of calmness and quietness compared to the roads nearby. So I don't think the road connects to the ORR. Solar power. Sir, as per the government norms, we are providing the solar panels on rooftops, and the electricity from this would be channeled to the common area lighting. Of course, it will not be total sufficient for the entire thing, but whatever electricity is generated from the solar panels, that will be directed to the common area lighting, and we are complying with the norm. So we will be providing those on the rooftop. Great presentation and the detailing. Would appreciate your insights on the high density with Loft project. Sir, so with respect to density, right, let me address this question. Right, see, only density makes it possible to build in best of the to bring in best of the vendors. See, let me give an example. Like in Spire, we have 400 flats, right? In 400 flats, we are providing a supermarket there, but we are unable to get somebody like Ratnadeep there. So see, definitely there are more. There will be new challenges with high density, but there are even great conveniences which are achieved with that. See, a lot of vendors like ICICI Bank or Ratnadeep or a very good creche provider or somebody like Bubbles and all, they only come when there are minimum of 1,000 flats. Loft is 900, so we could convince them to come. In smaller communities, you're not going to have these service providers. Thereby, the ease of living will be, I would say, less there versus here. And yes, another thing, see, typically developers give around 2% amenity space. In Loft, if you see, we are giving close to 3.3% of clubhouse space and another 34,000 square feet. See, the clubhouse is 55,000 square feet, which is close to, if I'm not wrong, 3.3% of the saleable space and another 34,000 square feet of additional space. See, we need to see high density gives its own challenges. We need to plan well. But high density is the future of living because it will reduce the cost of services. If there's low density, then you cannot have very great vendors out there, and ultimately the residents, residents' quality of living will come down. So I am a proponent believer that high density living is the future, but one needs to carefully plan. Like in our case, we conducted the research. Yes, now with increase in density, what are the new age requirements are? So if you look at Loft, we are providing for everything. And let's say something like the badminton court, which a lot of people use, right? Typically, if you look in that neighborhood, apartments which have 2,000, communities which have 2,000 apartments have given three badminton courts. But in Loft, we have 900, we have still given 3. So we need to plan better, but high density is the future of living. Right? Since it is high-rise and prestigious project, who all are frontline technical team and quality team? Sir, the people who are working in this are engineers who have been with us for the last close to 8 to 10 years, and they've already executed projects, delivered, so they have got that experience. The project manager has a minimum of 15 years experience, right? And all the team also have around 7 to 8 years experience, all the in charges, and then different layers of people are there. So, you can be rest assured that we are deploying our, top-notch manpower on this. And also another thing I would want to point out, the number of quality engineers we deploy per SFT, we are the highest in the industry, and we are almost beating our competitors by 2 times. So we are deploying twice more quality inspectors compared to our competitors. So we are leaving no stone unturned when it comes to progress and quality. In fact, ASBL's bedrock, that is. Since it is high-rise, okay, I think this I've answered. I want to buy a flat. Which is better? So I would say both are very good. So you buy in either one, we'll be very happy. So if you're looking for a little earlier handover, something like in 2025 December, then you can go for Spectra. If you're looking for a little later handover, you can go for Loft. So it sort of depends on you which one you would like to go. Right? So I think we are done with the questions. So thank you so much. I mean, it was really I was a really pleasure hosting you all here, and I hope we do more of these things. And we want to actively engage with our buyers, our residents, to to discuss on their needs, their design requirements, and all. So thank you so much for being here.